Hey everybody, Neil McNeil here, and recently I did something that I'm not too proud of. And this is not something that I normally talk about on my channel, but I feel like I can turn this into a learning experience for a lot of you, so I'll just come clean with it. A few weekends ago, I had a one-night stand. Except I didn't really know it was a one-night stand until about 3 days afterwards, but we'll get to that. So I went out to one of my favorite bars with a bunch of my friends, and the entire night my eyes kept darting to this one boy across the bar who kept crossing my path, and it was just like I would be mid-conversation with my friends and then this would happen. So then she looks at me and says, chiropractor, I don't even know her. Are you okay? I love him. And this went on for about 2 hours into the night until one of my friends was finally like, Neil, why don't you just go up and talk to him? Now, I'm pretty shy, so when it comes to talking to guys, I usually end up doing something like this. What's up, man? Hi, yeah, I noticed you before. I really like coffee. You have a really cute butt. Do you want to go out sometime? But I figured I would save myself the embarrassment this time around and just let it go. Plus, he was busy talking to some like big muscular guy, and I figured like, ooh, he's not really into the skinnier, twinkier type, so you know what? All hope is lost. But one of my friends decided that he was gonna go up and talk to him for me and kind of, you know, wingman me a little bit, try to steer him in my general direction. And wouldn't you know it, a few minutes later, he came up to me, brushed my back, and it was honestly, so he introduced himself to me, I introduced myself back, and he looked at my t-shirt because I was wearing this Wolverine shirt, and he says to me, hey, what's your favorite version of Jean Grey? And I literally melted on the spot. This was not only a boy who was beautiful, charming, had a winning smile, but also knew about comic books. So I figured I'd give him a shot. Now when I go out to bars, I don't normally go with the intention of finding someone and taking them home, but this was a little bit different. He seemed very nice, he seemed very genuine, he seemed like somebody who would actually, you know, care if I went home with him. And we talked the entire night. Like, he made sure to get my phone number, we danced for a little while, he met a few of my friends, and at the end of the evening, he decided he was gonna invite me back to his place. But there was one catch. So he looks at me and says, hey, I want to invite you back, but I have one question for you before I can. And I figured he's gonna ask me along the lines of like, you know, do you have a boyfriend? Are you seeing someone? What's your deal? No. He leans in, gets as close to me as humanly possible without actually touching me, and says, can you tell me how Wolverine got his adamantium claws? And my face just lit up. So I slide right in, get next to his ear, whisper seductively, the Weapon X project. And the next thing I know, I'm in a cab back to his place and we end up spending the night together. The only problem was I didn't get his phone number because my phone was dead. And I figured, you know what, that's the last I'm gonna hear from him, that's totally fine, this is a one-night stand and I guess I'm gonna have to live with it. Except he then finds me on Facebook and messages me to make sure that he has my number. Now, I thought this was a little bit strange, but it turns out he may have just wanted it for a future booty call because I gave it to him and I still never heard back. Now, I'm not the type of person who normally goes out and has one-night stands, so this was all very confusing to me. But after talking to a few friends who had been through situations like this, I come to realize that there are people out there who are going to know exactly what to say to you to get you to do what they want. In the moment, I thought this guy was completely and totally into me and that he had my best interest at heart when really, all he wanted was somebody to take home. Now, I'm not saying that makes him a bad person because I went into it willingly. I knew the risks in this situation, but it still kind of hurt to realize that this person only saw me as a one-time thing as opposed to somebody who he could talk to maybe a little bit later on. The truth of the matter is, one-night stands are going to happen whether you like it or not, and I suggest that you just mentally prepare yourselves for it. It sucks to think that you're gonna have such an amazing night with this person who you could potentially see yourself with down the line and have all communication cut off the next day. It's kind of a weird situation to be in, but I realize that being a 20-something out here in Los Angeles, it's bound to happen. This was the first of what I'm sure are going to be many awkward situations like this, and I'm coming to terms with it. I'm realizing that this is not out of the ordinary and that things like this happen. So for all of you out there who have been through similar situations or might go through this in the future, please remember that this is nothing on you. There is nothing wrong with you. They are not upset about how the night went. They are just the type of person who sees that as, you know, a one-time thing. For a few days afterwards, I honestly thought that maybe I did something wrong, maybe I said something to upset him, or maybe I just wasn't good enough. But finally I came to terms with the fact that, you know, this is just an inevitability and it's going to happen. If you're in these sort of situations, don't let yourself get too down about it and just enjoy the ride. Unless you're not the type of person who likes one-night stands, in which case, get the fuck out of there. Sorry that this ended up being a little bit more ranty than I expected, but I just wanted to share my experience with you and see if any of you could relate. Leave me a comment below if a situation like this has happened to you in the past, because I know that there are some of you out there who have been through the exact same situation and it sucks. But I guess it's not all bad. Be sure to subscribe and do all that good stuff, and until next time, I will catch you later, nerds. This is movie magic right here that you are seeing. It's also a plane. You can hear my neighbor talking on her cell phone. glamorous. GLAMOROUS.